Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 p.m. Cairo local time, and this is the Channel 2 News. I'm Henny Saif. Coming up next are the main headlines making the news today. President Sisi hails Japan's upcoming TICAD summit as a main platform for supporting Africa. Tensions run high as a Turkish military convoy is attacked in Syria's Idlib province. And President Sisi congratulates Egypt's handball youth team for winning the World Cup. Welcome back. The news in details. The official website of Japan's foreign ministry today posted a message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to the TICAD 7th summit, which is scheduled between August 28th and 30th. In his message to the 2019 Tokyo International Conference on African Development, the President thanked the government and the people of Japan for hosting the international conference, saying since its launch in 1993, TICAD has boosted development in Africa. The President also greeted the African Union adoption of the Africa 2063 agenda, saying it is a cornerstone for sought regional economic integration in Africa, placing sustainable development projects as top priority. The President said TICAD and other strategic partners in Africa are invited to contribute to efforts aimed at boosting these joint goals and objectives. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli asserted that Egyptian Museum in Tahrir and adjacent area would be transformed into a major touristic destination as part of the government efforts to develop the historic Cairo area. The Prime Minister's remarks came during his meeting with a number of ministers and concerned parties to follow up the developments of upgrading both the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square and the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Old Cairo's Fustat district and surrounding areas. During the meeting, Madbouli reviewed a planned relocation of royal mummies from the Egyptian Museum to the Civilization Museum and the path to be taken for the move, which will be celebrated in a remarkable world event as a boost for the Egyptian tourism. An airlift to return home Egyptian pilgrims who performed the annual Hajj pilgrimage is underway, with 18 flights scheduled for today, carrying 4,200 pilgrims. 15,000 pilgrims have already been back over the last 6 days, with the highest number of returnees expected tomorrow. Nearly 80,000 Egyptians have joined the Hajj season this year. Meanwhile, Dr. Amra Andil, head of the Egyptian Medical Hajj Mission, said a total of 206 Egyptian pilgrims were admitted to Saudi hospitals, with only 67 of them still receiving treatment. Spokesman for the Sudanese Transitional Military Council, Lieutenant General Shamsuddin Qabbashi, said the formation of the new ruling body would be delayed by 48 hours on the request of the opposition coalition. Sudan's Sovereign Council was due to be sworn in on Monday. The Forces of Freedom and Change had chosen Aisha Musa, Sadiq Tawa, Mohammed Al-Faqi Sulaiman, Hassan Sheikh Idris, and Taha Osman as its representatives on the council. The opposition coalition is allowed to choose 5 members and the military another 5, with the two sides jointly choosing a civilian as an 11th member. The military council has yet to announce the other 2 members, but Qabbashi said that the 11th member had been agreed by both sides. Sudan's former President Omar Hassan al-Bashir on Monday arrived amid heavy security at the courthouse in the capital Khartoum, where he is facing corruption charges. Bashir is charged with illicit possession of foreign currency and accepting gifts in an unofficial manner. Prosecutors also want him questioned over suspected money laundering and terrorism financing. Libyan National Army spokesman Ahmed al-Mismari said that the Libyan forces are fighting terrorism in Tripoli and western Libya, warning foreign powers against any intervention in Libyan national affairs. Al-Mismari said that eastern Libyan forces have twice bombed the airport in Zawara, a town west of Tripoli, saying they had targeted militants. The attacks are part of a campaign currently in its 5th month to try to take Libyan capital Tripoli, which is held by the internationally recognized government. The Libyan National Army has resorted to increasing airstrikes against Tripoli airport and other targets since its ground campaign has failed to make it beyond southern suburbs of the Libyan capital. Syrian and Russian airstrikes hit near a Turkish military convoy that approached front lines in Syria's northwest Idlib province on Monday as government forces continued an operation in the rebel-held province. Turkey's defense ministry strongly condemned the airstrike on its military convoy that left 3 civilians killed and 12 others wounded, saying it was a violation of agreements with Russia. Idlib is supposed to be protected from a massive government offensive by a Turkish-Russian deal struck in September last year. Syrian government media called the Turkish convoy an act of aggression. Since late April, Syria and Russia have upped their bombardment of the Idlib region of some 3 million people, killing more than 860 civilians and uprooting hundreds of thousands, according to the United Nations. The Turkish government removed 3 mayors from office on Monday over alleged links to Kurdish militants. The mayors of Diyarbakir, Mardin and Van provinces in eastern Turkey, all members of the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party elected in March, were suspended over alleged ties to the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party. Police intervened with water cannon as hundreds of people gathered outside Diyarbakir's municipality to denounce the government's actions. The Interior Ministry said the suspended mayors had active cases against them for spreading propaganda or being a member of a terrorist organization and would be replaced by the centrally appointed governors of their provinces. Tehran said Monday it has warned its Washington against attempting to seize an Iranian oil tanker that has set sail from waters of Gibraltar after being impounded for 6 weeks. Speaking to reporters at a news conference, Foreign Ministry spokesman Abbas Mousavi said U.S. sanctions against Tehran are illegal, urging other countries not to accept them. Carrying 2.1 million barrels of oil, the Grace 1 tanker was seized by U.S. ally Britain off the coast of the British Overseas Territory, Gibraltar, on July 4th. A court in Gibraltar on Thursday ordered its release. This was in spite of a last-minute U.S. bid to detain the ship, which departed on Sunday evening for the Greek port of Kalamata. The final destination of the tanker remains unclear, with authorities in Greece yet to confirm that it is expected to dock there. At least 52 people, including children, were wounded Monday after 10 blasts shook the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad in Nangarhar province as the country marked Independence Day. This year's August 19th celebrations mark 100 years of Afghan independence from British influence. The day was supposed to be one of national pride and unity, but was overshadowed by a Daesh suicide attack Saturday on a crowded wedding hall in Kabul that killed at least 63 people. President Ashraf Ghani, in an Independence Day address, said the fight against Daesh will continue. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson called on France and Germany on Monday to change their position on Brexit and negotiate a new exit deal for Britain, reiterating his stance that he is ready to leave the European Union without a deal if they do not. With Britain set to leave the bloc on October 31st, it has less than 74 days to resolve a 3-year crisis that is pitting the country against the EU. Johnson took office last month after his predecessor, Theresa May, failed 3 times to get Parliament to approve the withdrawal deal she had negotiated with the European Union. 19 people died when a fuel truck barreled into the other vehicles in a busy town in western Uganda and exploded. The blast occurred overnight in the Kiambura Trading Center, a mountainous area near the Queen Elizabeth National Park. Regional police spokesman said that 10 people died instantly when the fuel truck lost control and hit 3 other vehicles, leading to multiple explosions that also burned 25 small shops. The accident in Uganda came 8 days after a fuel truck exploded in Tanzania, leaving 95 dead. A wildfire raged out of control on the Spanish island of Gran Canaria Monday, forcing more evacuations as flames in some parts rose so high even water-dropping planes were unable to operate. The fire, the third in 10 days in the mountainous center of the holiday island, popular for its breathtaking views, has forced the evacuation of several villages, which, according to the census, have a combined population of 8,000. On the northwestern flank of the blaze, flames have risen as high as 50 meters, preventing ground crew from getting near or water-dropping aircraft from flying above. These were the political news. Now it's time for the business updates, where Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli today reviewed a report by Harvard's Center for International Development, which expected Egypt's year-on-year economic growth rate to reach 6.8% until 2027, among the fastest-growing economies worldwide. The report showed that the national economy is more versatile thanks to the increasing volume and diversity of exports. The report further noted that Egypt is qualified for a future economic boom, enjoying various production opportunities through making the best use of its resources. Egypt's stock market fluctuated at dealing's close, being influenced by local and Arab investor purchases against foreign corporate sell-offs. The market capital for listed companies lost 2.4 billion Egyptian pounds, closing at 755.4 billion. And the benchmark EGX 30 index dipped 0.6% above the 14,300-point mark. Medium-capped EGX 70 index rose 0.6%, and the broader EGX 100 index slightly surged 0.2%. In commodity markets, crude oil prices rose today after an earlier attack on a Saudi oil facility by Yemeni separatists, with traders also looking for signs that Sino-US trade tensions could ease. London's Brent crude was 0.3% higher at $58.81 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 0.5% at $55.12 a barrel. The long-term outlook for the crude market remains somber, however, with OPEC on Friday providing a bearish outlook for oil for the rest of 2019.